I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans. And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field. Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
You are listening to Let Him Cook. I'm Dylan Coon, as always, joined by Nigel Dyson. And how sweet it is. Iowa State advancing to the Sweet 16 for the third time under TJ Altenberger. We're going to recap both games of the first weekend. We're going to look a little bit about the path ahead, and then just some general thoughts on the tournament so far. A lot to get into. Really, I mean, we're going to get to Tennessee State right away. So, I mean, I think every Iowa State fan is really happy about where we are. I think the number one story right now is the player that isn't playing. So a bit of a mixed bag, but I would say ultimately more good than bad out of the first weekend. But Nigel, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I always take Thursday and Friday off. I have every single year I've been in the working force. And those first 4 days of March Madness really are like my Christmas, my birthday, my Super Bowl, all of it. I mean, those are like the most sacred days for me every single year. And not 3 minutes into Iowa State's game, albeit it was like a Friday afternoon game, so it's not like it was the first game of the tournament, but like 3 minutes into Iowa State's tournament run, Joshua Jefferson is clutching at his ankle under the basket after really a layup that Joshua Jefferson has probably landed perfectly thousands of times, and for whatever unknown reason, just comes down terribly on that ankle. I mean, the replay made my heart drop. But what, like, just instant reaction. You see the layup go in. You see Joshua Jefferson fall to the ground. Boom. What are we thinking?
I think I tweeted it. I'm going to light myself on fire.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, too. The first game was so, in my opinion, over before it even started from a score standpoint. So I was like kind of half watching it. I was trying to finish up the week from a work perspective because, like, I don't know if I've told you this last year, but with my new job, since I've moved on from broadcasting as a career, we have like the first Thursday as our like March Madness event where we have clients over to watch the games. So even that day, like I'm really not in full detail watching the games.
Yep.
It's more so just trying to like make conversations, and then if something exciting happens, you catch those moments. So I'm not watching it in as detail as you are. Which I do miss, because back in my high school, college days, oh man, I don't. It doesn't matter where I was; it was tunnel vision. I could be in the high school lunchroom, I could be in a lecture, prepping for a midterm. Nigel didn't care. His YouTube TV was on, 4 screens divided, the whole shebang. But that wasn't the case this year. So I honestly found out like an hour later, like it was the second half already, and I was like, opened up Twitter, and I was like, please, somebody get the lighter fluid. I'm not joking. Like, this is it. It's over. So that was kind of my initial reaction. Then got on the train home, and I was like, you know what? This isn't that bad. As crazy as that sounds, I think we'll be okay. We'll make it out of the first weekend still. But again, I just saw how back and forth the Kentucky game was too, and that had me a little worried. I didn't know exactly what was going to be the end-all result of when a team gets hot and starts making heroic plays, you never know what that really means. Like, is this just a moment, or is this going to be a start to something magical that, you know, we see not every year, but it's not uncommon come this time of year for specific teams, especially a talented team on paper like Kentucky. Yeah. So I was a little nervous. On this, to say the least, but was very unfortunate not to have Joshua there in such a, I would say, season-making win, in a sense of like kind of showing America what the team DNA is. To not have him there and to see us play so well, it's like, imagine if he had been there, we probably would have won by 30. So it sucks. Hopefully he can be back by Friday, because we're definitely going to need him if he's ready to go. But I think we've shown the country that even if he's not, we'll be okay, and I think we'll put up a good fight against a really good Tennessee team. But I also do want to give some cadence to the 4-day, because I think from now, since I'm not able to put too much effort into watching it on Thursday and Friday because of work, what I do to overcompensate is throw my entire attention to the games on the weekend and that back end of the game. So the round of 32, basically. And what I realized is today specifically, the Monday following that first weekend of the tournament sucks because there's nothing on.
Yeah.
And there won't be anything on until Thursday. And it's like you just went binge drinking with the fellas, and instead of never wanting to touch alcohol again, it's like, oh, but I like touching basketball. Give me more basketball. And I'm hungover, but it's a good hungover, and I want some more, and I need to feed my addiction come Thursday. But it sucks because this is just a very shitty way to open up the week. No hoops after so much hoops, and it sucks too because it's as much as we love to see Florida lose in an upset win against Iowa, even though it was Iowa at the end of the day, Florida's not going to play basketball anymore until November. It's like the bittersweet to the tournament that, not only are they out, but you can't watch this team ever again, and then you also can't watch this team suit up until it's cold again and daylight savings is among us one more time. So it's a tough pill to swallow on a Monday, but nonetheless felt pretty good leaving this weekend a winner, to say the least.
Yeah, this Monday really, I think it is the worst Monday of the year because a lot of people say the Monday after the Super Bowl should be a holiday. Okay, let's do the Super Bowl 4 days in a row, and the Super Bowl is 12 hours long. And
64 teams play.
Yeah, that rocks. That there's nothing compares to the first 4 days of March Madness. And I also every year I'm with my two best friends from college, and my friend Danny just bought a house in his hometown of Lansing, Iowa. For those who haven't been to Lansing, Iowa, very rarely can you say any part of Iowa is fun to look at. It's some type of naturally appealing, good looking place. Lansing, Iowa got it figured out. That is a beautiful town. So I was just we would wake up, we would take a walk to a breakfast place, small town, everybody knows each other. I felt like it was in a Hallmark movie. And then I just got to watch cinema hoops for 12 hours a day. And it rocked. So yeah. And then Monday, where there's literally no basketball, it is a sobering realization. But getting back to, my instant reaction, again, I'm in a basement with my best friends. I'm locked in. I see Jefferson go down, and I immediately, there was a beanbag behind me, and I just crumbled. I just fell to the floor. I was like, there's no way. The last time we had an All-American was George Niang, and in the most pivotal tournament run of his Iowa State career, breaks his foot. He's in a boot. We're out by the Sweet 16. I was like, this can't be happening. This is such a sick joke. I just was in disbelief. And then it was hard for me to even appreciate the Tennessee State game as it went on. And obviously the team responded, TJ responded. Nate Heise has, a season high 25 points. I think Toure, let me get this right. Toure had 25, Heise had 22. But those guys combined for 47 points. And the strange thing about this Joshua Jefferson, you were saying it's going to be okay. We're still going to get out of the first weekend. You hope he's healthy by the second weekend. I think without Jefferson, in a strange way, your floor is almost higher because everybody's on edge now. Everybody's we can lose. We don't have Joshua Jefferson. We need to show up. But then also, obviously, the ceiling is a lot lower. If you don't have your All-American player, when it comes to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, and you don't have the guy, it limits your ceiling. So, in a weird way, I think it kind of gave us a spark in these first two games of you're not nice enough to just like lollygag through these first 2 games. But obviously, looking down the line, it's like, hey, if we play Michigan, we're probably going to need our second team All-American player against Michigan's front court. So it is kind of a give and take. But, I mean, obviously that team responded against Tennessee State and just blew them out of the water.
Yeah. No, and I was telling Jackson this too, like comparing kind of Joshua Jefferson's situation to maybe a Duke where Caleb Foster broke his foot. Like, there's rumblings he could be back this week, but again, I feel a lot more confident that Jefferson has a better timeline than a Caleb Foster, because a breaking of one's foot is a lot more intense than just a twisted ankle or a sprained ankle with like just a lot of bruising. At the end of the day, like, people play on those all the time, and with enough tape, you can bring back some stability to that ligament in that joint. Where a broken foot bone, I mean, that's all of your pressure and your base to playing defense and jumping and being explosive, grabbing rebounds, shooting a basketball. Like, there's so much that plays into that. Where I feel a bit better about Joshua as of right now, and the fact that they're saying that like there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I'll take it, because if not, maybe we squeeze past Tennessee, and then hopefully we get him back for the Elite Eight, where we're actually going to need him. And hopefully we're in a lot better shape overall as a team, where we've learned to play without him. Because I think there were times this year where we got too reliant on him offensively, and it kind of put these players that can do more kind of in a box, and you saw them come out of this box this past weekend, and I was really, really happy to see that. I've also looked up Lansing, Iowa, and this does look like a small town for like a crime movie. It looks like something, you're at a diner and something just feels off. You know, it's like
no. It was beautiful. It was like everybody. It rocked. You would enjoy Lansing, Iowa. I guarantee it.
I'm saying Lansing, like on a gloomy day. It's like October, and like all the leaves have fallen, and you just feel like a crime's been committed. I don't know. We might have to go to Netflix with some movie ideas. That's just me.
Be a great set. They're without a bridge right now, so getting crews and that might be a problem. But right on the Mississippi. If you haven't been, they'll figure it out. They got money.
We'll fix it in post.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. No, but nonetheless, still feel pretty confident in overall just like the shape we're in right now. I think teams are a lot more worried about us than we are worried about other teams. And a lot of it too was TJ's demeanor. Yeah. Like, he was looking around like he wanted to hurt somebody. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I think we're going to win.
Yeah.
And then I see Taman hitting step backs with creating separation like Noah's Ark, like Moses did with the sea. And so I'm just like, all right, people are acting different, and this is the time to act different. It's March, and big time players make big time plays, and you saw a lot of that last night or yesterday afternoon. So hopefully we can just carry this on into the next round. But I think we did luck out, especially with Tennessee overcoming Virginia, because I just feel like Virginia would have made that game a lot more gross. Yeah, and I know Tennessee has the ability to do that too, but they're just not as like mucky as they have been in past years, where like defense was their core identity. They had a few NBA dudes. I mean, I know they have Nate Met, but everyone else is. I think this is one of their more least talented teams from previous years, especially like following like the Grant Williams type of era going forward. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about this matchup, and I feel like we lucked out being on this side of the region here.
Yeah, when I was watching that Tennessee-Virginia game, I think I wasn't really like, oh, I really want this team or the other team. To me, it's like, I want Joshua Jefferson to get healthy, and if he is, I don't really care who wins this game, because I think we're better than both teams. Speaking of Jefferson, Jackson, we have a little update from CBS Sports here. If you want to pull that up, just talking about that ankle injury and his availability for the second weekend.
You all saw that ankle turnover, pretty violent. Cyclone Nation just held all their breaths. Now, those ligaments are quite elastic, so that's why it allows that ankle just to turn over so much. But they are elastic, and they also recoil really well. So we are throwing everything at this player at this moment. We know he can't fully heal between the next game, but we can try to at least get him to play. And I'm really very confident about Friday's game. Here's why. So he'll be doing rehab multiple times a day. First of all, reset the body, calm everything down, because everything tightens up on that side. His calf, his knee, his hip. 2, we got to restore his movement and regain his stability. Movement through hands-on work, through hydrotherapy, pool therapy that unloads the body, and obviously the really most important, the hands-on work. And then we got to prep for the next game. As soon as he could put full weight on that ankle, guess what? He's shooting free throws. He's watching film every single day. Like I said, it's not about fully healing, but just getting him ready. Having an MRI today, barring any hidden findings in that MRI, I expect him to play. I expect him to be taped, possibly braced. We will look for any signs of movement, particularly the cutting and changing of directions. But understand that this is a situation where not fully healed, just getting ready for that next game.
So, look, man, I was getting messages sent from doctors on Twitter, from doctors on TikTok. I'm not a doctor, Nigel. You know that about me. It looked really bad. And I've played basketball and I've landed less awkwardly than Joshua Jefferson did. And that hurts so damn, like an ankle sprain hurts so goddamn bad. And they get so swollen and nasty. Like, even if he does come back, the one maybe saving grace about this is he's not a guy that relies on his athleticism or his speed. Like, he can still be a really good player if he's going on 80% speed, just like full, like sprint level speed. But he's quick. I mean, he has good movement, but he's not a guy that's going to try to launch off the ground with that right ankle. But I don't know, man. That was such a nasty twist. And he said in high school he played through a high ankle sprain. And those are obviously worse. This one's a low ankle sprain. But man, I don't know. It's so tough to be like, you got at most 4 games left, but at what point do you risk it and throw him back out there on, a 60 or a 70% ankle?
Yeah, I think you play it safe. I mean, obviously you don't start him. Right. But if he can go on Friday. Like, yeah. Why are we not doing that? Kevin McHale played. I mean, again, this was the 80s, and people were getting punched in the face just for breathing wrong. But nonetheless, those guys played the NBA Finals with broken feet. So, yeah. And again, a lot of those guys weren't the most explosive dudes in the world. And again, playing that power forward position, you can kind of get away with that. So, again, I think as long as he can, I think too, to the doctor's point, calming one's adrenaline down can get you to base level again. I think that's half the damn problem is people don't really know how bad it is until that adrenaline rushes off. So as long as you can kind of go from starting today, obviously seeing where you are and then seeing how we feel come Friday, especially when you are working on the rehab multiple times a day, I feel pretty confident that he can at least suit up. Again, there will be probably some sort of minute restriction. But I think just to have them out there to put Tennessee in a position where they have to at least game plan for that, as opposed to just treat them like a decoy. Because that's the last thing you want to do is treat, our LeBron James that he's not still LeBron James. You still want to be able to be ready for him because he can still shoot the ball. He can make a layup still. None of that is going to be taken away from him. He doesn't lose his powers. He's just a little deflated. He's a battery that's not at full 100%. And I think that's okay to take him at 70, 80% just for, the type of game it is. Cause as much as you want to treat it as we'll have him in the Final Four, we'll be okay. I don't know. TJ's teams have not gotten past this round. So I think we have to treat this like a championship game. So I think it'd be dumb not to have him suit up. I think with us playing Friday, we do have a big advantage of not getting the Thursday game. I think that's going to be a little tighter. But again, I think to have the Friday, Sunday slate for the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight, I think you put yourself in a really promising position to try to get him at some extent back. And then who knows, maybe after another day of rest, by Sunday he's even better. He's even more refreshed. So I think sometimes it's like you don't want to rush an injury back, but you also don't want to sit on it too long either, because when you sit on it too long, that's when you can kind of baby it and lose some of that strength that you already had in that leg. So hopefully they can have him suit up. Hopefully they can have him on a minutes restriction, and hopefully we can have him have some impact come Friday evening.
Yeah, and even after the game on last Friday, he was questionable going into Sunday. That to me felt kind of, I felt like he was going to be out no matter what. But that also gave me pause. I mean, I woke up Sunday morning playing Kentucky later that day, and I felt bad. I was like, this is bad. I felt like bad vibes. I was like, we're without our best player. Like, it just felt like, last year you don't have Keyshawn. Taman's at like 70% maybe. Like, I could see it all happening again. And like the George Niang has his foot in a boot. It just felt like I've seen this movie before. And then Kentucky gets off to that quick start. They were up like 20-9. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, there's no way. And then Taman Lipsey, as you said, like that guy had 26 points, a career high, 10 assists. And between him and TJ Otzelberger, I think both of those guys were like, there's no way in hell we're losing this basketball game. Like they will both throw their bodies in front of a moving vehicle to make sure we win this game right now. Taman Lipsey was going to leave it all out there. Like, that guy was ready for whatever. And I'm just going to pull up some stats from the first half, which was ugly. Iowa State couldn't buy a basket the whole first half. Oh, great. Now it went away. Stay with me here.
We're staying.
So, field goal percentage, Kentucky 48%, Iowa State 29%. Kentucky's 11 for 23. We're 9 for 31. 9 for 31, Nigel. That's 19%, or that's 29%. And then we were 3 for 16 from 3, and that's 19%. Abysmal.
Didn't we start 0 of 11 from 3?
0 of 11. And I said at that time, when we were 0 for 11, I looked at my two best friends. I said, we're due for some makes. Statistically speaking, we're about to make a lot of the next 3-point shots. And we did. I mean, just like, it really is a numbers game sometimes. You're not going to go 0 for 22 when you're a good 3-point shooting team. You're not. It doesn't happen. And so then, yeah, in the second half, and like Nate Heisey was talking about this in the locker room, he probably kind of let it slip a little. I'm sure. I mean, you don't have to give Kentucky bulletin board material because they're gone now, but he was like, part of the game plan was to like make them quit. We were like, if we thought we just like took their spirit away, that they were just going to, wave the white flag. And they did. When Brandon Garrison threw the ball 20 feet out of bounds at the free throw line, I was like, this is over. That guy's checked out. That guy doesn't care. He wasn't mad at himself for doing that. He was just like, this sucks. And I was like, we got him. This is over.
That's such a demoralizing feeling when the press is just too much. You're like, you know what? I'm going to do some uncharacteristic shit. Row 7, look out. Throw them a skyhook. A quick souvenir.
It was bad. I mean, like, their guards were just bothered. And you could tell, like, Otega Owe had a good game. Like, that, he's a really good basketball player. But, like, those guys were just giving up. Aberdeen didn't want to be out there. Chandler didn't want to be out there. And, I just can't imagine, and I said this a couple weeks ago, Nigel, I think Iowa State is such a hard, like, one day to prepare for team. Like, it's us in Houston, right, where it's like, you haven't played us unless you have. Like, there's no way a scout team can bring the intensity that the Iowa State team does because they're not built like it. I mean, like, you just don't have guys that can replicate the intensity of Iowa State's defense on your scout team. You don't have it. So then when they roll the ball out, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good about myself. We're up 20-9 on a 2 seed. Like, let's go. And then you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, wait, I feel like we just played really good and we're down 1 at halftime. Like, that has to mentally do something. We were up by 1 at halftime.
Yeah,
that's dog shit.
Yeah. And here's the craziest thing. They shot better than us for the entirety of the game. And it was still that big swing of points. Our largest lead was 23. Their largest lead was 12. They shot 47% from the field for the entire game, 36% from 3. We shot 46% from the field, and we shot 32 from 3. And we both shot the same from the free throw line.
Yep.
Like, to see that swing is crazy. It really is just like, what was the difference? Turnovers.
Yep.
Like, we just turned them over more. And I think that's honestly the biggest, like, difference maker that I think we can bother teams like a Tennessee, like a Michigan. Because Michigan was very transparent when they played Duke. They were like, we haven't played a team that big and that good at defense this year. Like, we haven't seen that yet. So it's like, all right, man. I don't know if you've seen the top teams in the nation, but they all play pretty good defense.
Yeah.
It's not something a national champion would say, in my opinion. But again, it's why us at full strength gives me a lot of confidence that we can make the Final Four. We can make a national championship. It's just because a lot of teams don't have the time to prepare for us. Because it goes from like, you have all this time to prepare for the first round, the 1 out of 64. You have 3 full business days to prepare for that team. And then, and if you're lucky, if you play on Friday like us, you have 4 really business days to prepare. And then for this week, it's the same thing. Like, for the Sweet 16 game, you have 3 to 4 business days to prepare for that team. And that Elite 8 game, you're spending your Saturday night pulling an all-nighter, drinking Mountain Dew, trying to figure out how you break the Houston press, how you break the Iowa State press. How the hell is Toure picking people up from the parking lot? Like, there's some things you have to like really strategize around in a small amount of time, and not there isn't a grad assistant in the country sometimes that is equipped to do that. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to put us in a really good position to obviously, you know, catch some people kind of off guard, and to where they're not really playing their best prepared version of basketball against us.
Yeah, I was doing my DPI analytic deep dive this morning, and Iowa State, without Joshua Jefferson, went from 21st adjusted offense to 17th. But this is a big set that stood out to me, the turnover margin. Iowa State, 3rd in the country. These are the final 3 teams besides Iowa State in the Midwest. Alabama, 215th. Tennessee, who we're about to play, 252nd. And the 1 seed in that bracket, Michigan, is 265th. So all of those teams are in the bottom 150 turnover margin, and we're top 3. So, like, I mean, Nigel, like you said, the difference in that Kentucky game was we turned them over 22 times. They had their career or their season average in turnovers by halftime. Like, and you're talking about Michigan preparing for Alabama for the Sweet 16 and then preparing for Iowa State. You'll have a hard time finding 2 more different teams than Alabama and Iowa State. I can't
You're gonna
imagine.
need 2 different scout teams.
Yeah. You're gonna have to find like 5 guys from a junkyard to be Iowa State, and then find like 5 of the best shooters in the country to be Alabama. Like, it's such a different.
Call in the Harlem Globetrotters to simulate Alabama, and then you just call in 10 hungry pit bulls. It's like, this is Iowa State. Try to beat them. And it's like, how do we bring a press against a bunch of dogs? How? Take the ball. And it's just hot potato. Yeah. And the thing about our dogs is we have hands and thumbs, and we can shoot basketballs. So sounds like a lot of teams in our region are in trouble.
And I really like Killian Toure. I mean, he's just like the first one that comes to mind, Tamin Lipsey too, but like Pitbull, that guy has looked like a different basketball player since that Arizona Big 12 semifinal. Like, he, in both Tennessee State and Kentucky, his confidence looks way higher. And like, you can tell him and TJ, I mean, I think it's TJ and the whole team right now, honestly, but like, those 2 are so locked in and they're on the same level right now of intensity that, like, you can't tell Killian Toure shit right now. Like, that guy is operating differently. And like, I mean, Joshua Jefferson being out, like you said, Killian Toure has kind of looked around at parts of the season, and he's like, look, I don't have to do much on offense. We got Tamin, we got Milan, we got Joshua. Like, I can kind of sit back and let the game come to me. But now that he's got him and Heisey have both got this kind of aggressive mindset where they're just getting after it, and it's paying dividends on both ends of the court. Those guys have been dogs in March.
Yeah. No, and again, sometimes you need a little adversity to really test people and to bring people out of their shell, to really see what people are made of. And sometimes the basketball gods do this to you on purpose to kind of show your team, hey, we had this secret weapon all along, we just weren't using it.
Yeah.
And I think to go into these bigger games where you do know that your fifth, sixth, seventh option can also make just as big of an impact as a Joshua Jefferson on a night to night basis is huge. It's an eye opening experience because when you do have Jefferson there, it's like, well, we want to feed Jefferson. Like we don't want to figure out if our seventh man's got it tonight. Like you just want to figure out, you want to do by doing the obvious. And when the obvious is no longer there, you have to get creative. And this weekend, Iowa State got creative and we created some magic in St. Louis for sure. I know and it's such a crazy thing. It's so funny to be a part of the Kentucky identity crisis because obviously with Arkansas moving on to the next round, it's really they're really having a full circle moment of like, holy shit, we were the problem with the whole Calipari fiasco. Like we were never an invincible enough brand to where we could just get rid of a coach and figure it out. Like no. Yeah, a move like that has to be strategic. You can't just give it to an alum because I feel right now Kentucky and UNC are turning into the same type of program where it's like you're living off the fucking past. You're just bringing in alums to be the coaches. They don't really know what they're doing. And it's crazy because Pope had a decent thing going in BYU, and it's like you left a good thing there for what you thought was better, and it's the absolute opposite. The grass is not greener on the other side. And again, BYU was also a first round exit, so I know that's like I'm not saying that, but it's like BYU probably could be in a better position right now if you would have kept the momentum you had going in Utah. So it's crazy to me to always be a part of an identity crisis of a blue blood is pretty cool from this side of the tracks. But it's just been funny to see that discourse too, just to see how a lot of former alumni, Marcus Teague on Jeff Teague, his little brother, his podcast, like he was still rooting for Kentucky, but a lot of people have jumped ship. They're Arkansas fans now. Reed Shepherd pulled up to a game yesterday in an Arkansas t-shirt. So the times are changing, and it looks like Kentucky's being left in the dirt, left in the dust, and Iowa State, while they were left in the dust, gave them a quick stomp in the throat. And we're like, yeah, try breathing now. And boy, did that feel good.
Our guy Tyrese Halliburton had a great tweet where it's like, I was gonna go like bother the Kentucky guys about us beating them, but they think they're Arkansas fans now. They don't even represent Kentucky anymore. And like the other thing that's crazy to me about getting rid of Calipari, like a lot of the old guard of college basketball has not done well. I mean, Izzo is kind of the only one that's still operating on a really high level. But the other guy you could say is Calipari. And hey, man, that guy's been paying, like nobody knows how to pay college basketball players like John Calipari. That guy's been doing it for decades. He was doing it before it was legal. Nigel, why? Like the college basketball has molded itself to work for John Calipari, and you fired him. Like as soon as everything that he was good at was being encouraged, you're like, actually, we're gonna go a different direction. We're gonna do.
I don't think you're the right fit for this vibe we got going over here anymore. It's like, buddy, I invented the piano key necktie.
Yeah,
it's like, what are we doing? Oh my god, it's college basketball's weird, man. It doesn't make any sense. I love it.
Yeah, and the other thing about like the difference between, like you said, Mark Pope leaving BYU for Kentucky, even if you're not having the success at BYU, I mean, like BYU had a great year. It sucks that Richie Saunders got hurt, but like no BYU fan in their right mind is like, we need to get rid of Kevin Young. He's not like, half of Kentucky wants to fire Mark Pope after 2 years. Yeah. Like that's what kind of like college basketball is changing so quickly right now that like, I think these blue bloods are getting a little antsy. Like they're getting a little like, hey, we can't just like show up and be the best team in our conference anymore. Let's just fire every coach. It's just
I
different.
know one team that can.
Yeah. Sure.
Finish the riddle, Dylan.
UConn?
Green blood? Okay, got it. No, but that is the difference between I put Kentucky and UNC in the same
even Kansas. Kansas is really struggling right now. Yeah.
Those blue bloods in those rural areas where they're not too equipped to change in all facets of life, like it's very telling in their basketball programs because you think you're just going to be hot shit every year. And then it's like, wait, we're not the best anymore? No! People are getting paid. People are getting paid in Arkansas. People are getting, like, and then other blue bloods are like, all right, let's stay with the times, i.e. UConn, i.e. Duke, i.e. Michigan State. Like, let's stay with the times so we can stay a relevant program. Other people want to either put all their eggs in one basket, Kansas, or they want to make bad coaching decisions and think they're just going to, like, show up and be all right, Kentucky, UNC, and then you guys get embarrassed year in and year out. I mean, UNC has been living off the coattail of that 2022 Final Four run, and let me remind everyone out there that run was off the back of St. Peter's. If St. Peter's doesn't make that Elite Eight run, I don't know if UNC even touches the Final Four, giving Hubert Davis the one saving grace of his entire coaching career, which is I eliminated Coach K from his coaching farewell tour. Like, that's his only call to heaven. Everything else has been dog shit. Light it on fire, leave it on the doorstep, dog shit. So something's got to give. I hope it's a hard pill to swallow for these fan bases, but it's very necessary to get through their thick heads that, yo, times are changing. You're no longer the top dog. You haven't been for a while. And Iowa State, if that ain't your come to Jesus moment, I don't know what will be.
Yeah. And I think that's a big talking point in college basketball right now is like brand is no longer everything because anybody can pay anybody. And then the other thing that's kind of been the talk of college basketball is like, are Cinderellas still a thing anymore? Like, is it even possible for these mid-major programs who are losing 10 players a year, losing a coach if he's good every year? I mean, Drake's been through 2 coaches that are now in the Big Ten. 3 of their past coaches are in the Big Ten. So it's like, it's so hard for like the Missouri Valley, the Big South, SoCon, like any of these like true mid-major. I mean, like even the Mountain West, they have more resources. The A10 has typically more resources. But like these 12, 13, and 14 seeds that we saw beating the likes of Duke and Iowa State and Baylor and like all of these, you're not seeing the frequency anymore. And I think it's really what those mid-major teams had was continuity. Like that was the name of the game. Like if you started at Vermont and turned yourself into a really good player, there was really no incentive to leave Vermont. Like those are the guys that you did it with. You might as well stay here. Like you just don't see that anymore. If you have a good year at a mid-major, you're gone. You're going to get paid 1.5, 2 million from some power school. Like we saw High Point, but even High Point, they've got money. I did a little bit of a deep dive into High Point, Nigel. I don't know what they're doing down there. They got money. So like even these schools that are doing it have more resources. Like I don't know if a team without a $5 million NIL budget, I don't know if you can win in the first round. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but it's all about timing, right? And again, like we have to also ask ourselves, what do you define as a Cinderella?
Yeah.
Is it a Loyola Chicago?
It's not Texas. Like I know Texas is an 11 seed. That's not a Cinderella. That's Texas. They got a bunch of money. I know they're an 11 seed.
But I think the run itself is still Cinderella. If they beat Purdue, brother, if they beat on paper, it looks phenomenal. You beat the number 1 draft pick in the first round. You then beat Gonzaga on paper. Great team. Like we'll look back on that in 10 years and be like, oh, it's like Gonzaga had a good year. They're 3 seed, won 20 plus games. That was a good team. If they beat Purdue, we might have to have a different conversation about Texas. And I'm the last person who wants to talk anything well about Texas right now. But is that what you consider a Cinderella? Or is it just a team you've never heard of before beating up on a Goliath?
I mean, I think there's some beauty to that. Like I've never really been moved by like a first 4 team in Dayton from a power conference making a deep run. It's always just like, that team probably went 500 in conference play. Yeah, they have some talent, probably playing their best basketball right now. But I don't give a shit.
You say that, but think about 2021, man. UCLA, Johnny Juzang. That team was
Okay.
awesome.
That team rocked. That's a rare one. Tiger Campbell, Jaime Jaquez
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah,
That team was
dude,
awesome.
that's some guys.
That's not Texas this year. And like,
Okay, so what you're saying is a Cinderella to you is like a Lehigh, a CJ McCollum, ragtag bunch beating up on Austin Rivers and Duke. Because mind you, Lehigh lost the next round. So like,
sure.
are there going to be more Lehighs or are there going to be more Loyolas?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the question.
probably-
What is a Cinderella to you?
I probably care more about, I want chaos on those first 2 days. I want unmitigated, like, all the shots of the fans just doing one of these because your future dentist just put 30 on like a blue blood's head. Like, that's what I want. But I think I enjoy that more. I don't know. That Loyola run is great. I mean, it's great when they make a deep run, but we're losing some of the chaos.
Dylan, then they go to the Final Four and they get pimp slapped by Michigan.
Right.
So like, how fun is it? It gets to a point. I'm all for some chaos, but again, some chaos. That's like saying you want World War III to happen. And it's
I think-
no, you just want someone to get in a bar fight. You don't want World War III to happen. Because, like, if we get to the Final Four and Oregon State's there, Houston's there, and
Florida
Kentucky's
Atlantic.
there, and then like, I don't know, the Tennessee State is there. Like, what? Blow it up. Blow it up. Shoot down the gym. I don't care. Just hit explode. It doesn't matter. Like, it gets to a point where I don't want to get crazy with the upsets. And I feel like you want to tap into that crazy and it's scaring me.
So I want, like, if a 15 seed wins in the first round, I want that Elite Eight to be like the 1 seed versus 3 seed. I don't want a St. Peter's, like, because yeah, at some point they're going to run into a team with like 3 NBA players and just get ran out of the gym. I don't want that, but I do want these, and that's the other thing, that Jeff Goodman tweet that Jackson threw up there. A lot of these games weren't even close, Nigel. Like, it was like these games were over by halftime, where it's like you could probably put that one on the small TV. You know, a new game just started. We're going to put that one on the big TV. Like, it was like these things were over. Like you said, like Iowa State, Tennessee State, that shit, like our best player went down in the first 3 minutes. That game was over by the 5th minute. Like,
Yeah.
these games just get so out of hand so quickly now. And I don't know, some of it I'm sure is recency bias. I know we've had blowouts forever in the first round, but to me it feels like it has never been harder for a mid-major, a true mid-major, to have success in March Madness than it does right now.
Yeah, but again, I think there's a glass half full to all of this. Like, I think it's not always a bad thing that the Cinderella is dying. First of all, we're all grown-ass men. You should not be rooting for Cinderellas. Root for your team. If your team's a Cinderella, sucks. But, like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. I don't know what to tell you. That's kind of my first sentiment on that. My other sentiment to that is, like, what an opportunity, dude, for some of these people. Like, I don't think we have to keep looking at it as everything is so team oriented, because it was back when it was real amateur sports. This is no longer amateur hour. People are getting paid. So if you can be a mid-major and put yourself in a situation like a High Point where, High Point isn't going to be a team that's going to make the Elite Eight as a team, but they have pieces to beat a Power 5 school. As a Power 5 school, I'm going to do some research on High Point and see who enters the transfer portal. And when they enter said transfer portal, I'm going to give them the money that they very so well deserve. And as much as, like, it is cool to look at, we can't just be watching and tuning into the, because again, I want to eliminate the casuals from this tournament. I like how excited people get for this tournament. I really do. But when I realize you're simply watching only for the upsets, now I want to upset you. Because you think you're going to just watch entertainment. You want to see some chaos? Go watch reality TV. I put too much time, effort, emotional withdrawal and effort into this sport on a year-to-year basis for you to show up on March 18th and just want to see someone lose. You don't know anything about the sport. You don't know what their mascot is. You don't know what the school demographic is. You don't know what their best players' points per game average is. You just want to see chaos. Now I'm going to show you chaos with my hands around your neck. How about that? That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it. It's I want to get rid of the casual fan in college basketball. If you're gonna watch the tournament, my brother, get on the ride in November.
Yeah.
It's just as fun. Like I want it to almost be anticlimactic to get rid of these fakers and these naysayers and these posers that just act like they have so much invested into this when you don't know shit about fuck. So, like, let's wrap it up. We're not. If you want to go see a Cinderella, put on a Disney Channel film, because this is not a game. This is people's livelihood. All right, people are paying. They're literally getting paid to do this now. So for people to want to make a mockery of it, crazy. In my opinion, and if the result of all this is the Cinderella is dead, so be it. We're 26 years old, like that boat is sailed, and I'm okay with that. I've moved on from Cinderella, and so should you.
The other thing, kind of like what you're saying, like we talk about how chalky the first weekend was last year, especially. There were some great games this weekend. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Last year was especially bad. But last year, we also had maybe the best Final Four of all time. Like the four teams in the Final Four were without a doubt the four best teams in the country. And the two Final Four games and the championship game were like the highest of high tier college hoops you can have. So that's the benefit of this.
That is my point. Is we let's rewind back to 2023. The Final Four was UConn. I'm missing the fourth one.
FAU, San Diego State,
FAU, San Diego State, Miami.
Yuck.
That was the Final Four.
Yuck.
Now, someone who loves upsets. Oh, let's go FAU. Oh, Dustin May. Yeah, like shut up, dude. That sucked. All that chaos happened. Guess who still won? UConn. Oh. You idiot! You wanted all that to happen just to watch UConn still win? Guys, at some point, you have to see it for what it is. All of that is great for the casual. If you actually tune in to this podcast every week, I know you're watching every game. I know you're watching other teams every other game. So, anyone in this community should not want that at all. You should want a team like Iowa State who's worked their ass off to be a 2 seed, who's done the hard work to get to this point. I'd be ready to slap somebody if they said, hey, I got you losing to Tennessee State. Really? You want to go in the parking lot and jab real quick? Because you can catch this fade. Those are fighting words. Oh, I don't know what anyone else is talking about. It gets to a point where, as a basketball fan, I prioritize a top level, just high performing Final Four over a fun first weekend. There's still going to be an upset, believe it or not. There's always going to be a high point. Let's just try to see who that one's going to be. Because honestly, it makes it for a still chaotic first weekend, because it's there's going to be 1 to 2 upsets, a VCU and a high point. We don't know which one's going to be. So let's just make sure we pick the right one. It doesn't mean your entire bracket needs to be just idiotic picks and choices. You still need to have and bring some logic to this tournament, because now with money, logic can be applied more. Some teams are just too tough to just go down after one punch. Not every team is a Darren Peterson where they have this really good star and they're already mentally checked out. In a previous NIL era, teams like Austin Rivers, teams like Jason Tatum, they've gone on record to say, hey, when I was in college, come the tournament, it was one of my biggest regrets in college, but I wish I was more tuned in during that March Madness era, because I wasn't getting paid like I should have. So I wasn't worried about that. I was worried about the bag I could potentially get in June. Yeah. So it gets to a point where it's I would much rather have everyone locked in, and it's going to cause some of the best basketball you've seen. Yeah, you're going to have your stinkers like Tennessee and Virginia, but look back at the weekend we just had. There was great basketball. Upset or not, it was still good basketball. And guess what? The basketball's only going to get better, and you should want that. You should want every single weekend to get better and better and better. And then obviously there's going to be a little bit of chaos in there, but again, to just be that guy who wants just because you did to overcompensate. And here's my thing: psychologically, people want to feel important during March Madness. They want to feel invested just as much as someone like you and I who put time, effort, and emotional with being into this sport. And they want to feel the same type of passion. So what they do is they hop on that chaos wagon. And when we're done, we're like how I said, we're done with the 90s. We're done with the chaos. We're done with the Cinderellas. And if they're dead, leave them in the coffin and let them die. Period. Because this is for the better. I'm telling you. If last year's Final Four wasn't an awakening for everyone, I don't know what will. I don't know what will give it to you, because it doesn't need to be a 1-1-1-1 seed in the Final Four. I'm not saying that, but if it's like a mix of 1 through 3s, that might be cinematic, and you're just gonna have to see it for yourself to really understand it. And only people who have seen the tournament year in, year out, like every round, they picked up on all the patterns, get it now. But if you're on this Cinderella, oh no, Cinderella's dying, grow up. Like that's the hill I'm dying on. Grow the hell up. Grown ass man talking about some Cinderella. Man, I'm done.
That was an all timer. That don't play Cinderella when Nigel's in the room. That's...
No, wait, I mean, guys, I have a mustache. I'm talking Cinderella. What? No, we're not doing this.
There were some great hoops. I think the game of the weekend for me is still Nebraska-Vandy. Oklahoma City was like 90% Nebraska fans. That last 2 minutes, a lot of people are getting like caught up, as they should, in that last shot, Tyler Tanner's last shot, because that 50% of the ball, Nigel, was on the bottom.
It was like, in the rim,
under the rim, and then
it was in the basket. It should have counted.
I've never seen anything like that. And then the other favorite part about that game is like all the Nebraska players, when that happened, they didn't even celebrate right away. Like they saw like the life flat, like it just happened. Like they just saw them lose, and then they're like, they had like a moment of like, what the hell just happened? That was incredible. I also I'm just so happy for Fred. I feel like most of Iowa State has kind of turned the page on that. TJ has been more successful than Fred has. It's crazy to say, but he has. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of rallying around Nebraska. And if you needed any more of a reason, the team they're playing in the Sweet 16 is the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, I mean, Iowa State, far and away, my favorite team. There's no question. Yeah. My second team I'm rooting for, without a doubt, is Nebraska. I mean, Fred, Sam, Hoiberg, Rink Mast is awesome. Frager, the kid, that kid from Nebraska, he had the go-ahead layup from Price Sanford, who all of a sudden looks like one of the best shooters in the country. And Nigel, I'm just going to throw it out here, and if it happens, it happens. If Price Sanford hits the game winner against Iowa.
No, I was actually going to give him a shout out, because I remember they were asking him in the locker room, what was your reaction when you realized you won the game? Yeah, he was like, Price specifically said that he was like, just want to thank the good Lord, baby Jesus. I was like, oh God, buddy went full religion on us. And yeah, I honestly, I get it. But yeah, no, if he has a generational shot, a generational performance against an Iowa team that he walked away from with his head held high, buckle up. Twitter's about to be a madhouse.
Also, Nigel, just one thing on this Florida Iowa game. Todd Golden, what are we doing? What are we? Dude,
he sucks. Oh my God.
How good is his backcourt to make them win a champion? He's going to be a guy like Gene Chizik, where in 10 years from now, we're like, Todd Golden won a national, that Todd Golden, the Todd Golden who's currently at FIU, that guy won a national champion. It's what? There's so people forget decisions.
People forget he's a creep, but I digress. If you know, you know. But also, I remember when they had that little scuffle at half court.
And he's running onto the court. What are we doing?
Calling him an MFer. I'm like, first of all, I know he's tiny, but I'm drawing a blank. I need some sleep here. But what's our McCollum, right?
Yeah. Ben McCollum.
McCollum, he's got some muscle on him. He might slap shit out of you, Golden. I'd shut up. That guy doesn't have any hair. He has nothing to lose. He will kill you.
credit to McCollum. They did I get they have to do it. I hate these pull away coach interviews mid game, but she pulled McCollum away and he was like, I don't know. The coaches down there got really sensitive. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. That was awesome. But Nebraska, Iowa, I mean, outside of Iowa State, Tennessee, that is probably the game. And also just where I live, where I grew up. I know so many Nebraska fans. I know so many Iowa fans. I truly can't imagine playing a rival in a Sweet 16. If we had Kansas right now, I wouldn't be able to sleep all week. I would just be tossing and turning every night.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a fun weekend.
Yeah.
For more than one reason, that's for sure.
And then the Midwest region, we got Michigan versus Alabama. And I'll be in Chicago. Jackson, our producer, told us he'll be in Chicago. I know a lot of Cyclone fanatics going to be there. Brent Bloom's going to be there. Jake Brent's going to be there. I'm sure Rob Gray will be there. Nigel, are you making an appearance somewhere? What's kind of the?
I'll probably be at some local bar. Sure. Unfortunately, won't be at the game. For those who don't know, I'm moving soon, so got to save the finances.
Yep.
So yeah, I love Iowa State, love them to death, but hopefully this ain't the first and last Sweet 16 we're at. And obviously, there's always I've caught on to the locations in terms of how they maneuver through towns for each region. I know that Chicago always gets its opportunity time and time again. So if it's not this year, at some point down the line, I'll definitely try to make it out to a game. Hopefully Cyclone Fanatic can get me to a game. Who knows? We'll see.
There we go. Get
Might
your
pull
press
some
pass.
strings.
That's the only way I'm getting in. Those tickets, I'm sure with Michigan and Iowa State fans are far too rich for my blood. So if I didn't have a press pass, I wouldn't be there either. But man, I'm just really excited. Obviously, you hope Joshua Jefferson can get healthy. But I mean, and the other thing that we've done so far is players have played uncharacteristically. You've seen a huge game in a good way. You've seen a huge game from Killian and Heisey. Taman Lipsey probably had his best game of the season against Kentucky. And if Jefferson isn't suiting up against Tennessee, we're going to need either one of those three guys. Maybe it's Bateman. Maybe Buchanan gets a double-double. We're just going to need somebody to step up. As long as Jefferson's out, we're going to need somebody to step up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think to put people on their toes, to have 40 minutes of great film to show Kentucky, Rick Barnes might have a stroke this week. I mean, not to show Kentucky, show Tennessee.
Yeah.
Rick Barnes might have a stroke this week trying to stress to his guys, hey, Nate, if you're running under the basket this game, they're going to kill you. I'd cut that out. Taman Lipsey will bite your neck off.
Yeah.
And he'll do it on live TV in front of your family and friends. So again, I think it's very important to kind of have that kind of dangling over someone. It's yeah, we don't have our best guy, and we're a good team with our best guy, but look at us without our best guy. Can you guard the perimeter? Can you guard a pit bull when he's foaming and seething from the mouth? That's the $1 million question that Tennessee has to ask themselves. And I saw a lot of them. Again, here's what I love about yesterday's game. While I do think Virginia-Tennessee was a shitty basketball game, it was a bad ending. I think there was poor officiating too. I do think there is some light at the end of the tunnel in a sense where there were a lot of opportunities that had Virginia just capitalized. Tennessee gave them the game. So whether we blow it out or we keep it tight, I think we have the players nonetheless to take advantage of those opportunities if we can create them. And again, if we can have a similar situation where we're causing a lot of turnovers like we did with Kentucky, I like our chances on getting past this Tennessee team with ease. But again, if we have to keep it tight, if they want to make it a rock fight, like I know Tennessee usually likes to do, then I think we put ourselves in a situation where I think even in that scenario, we still come out on top and successfully. Yeah.
And Nigel, I couldn't think of a better way to get us ready for the Sweet 16 and possibly the Elite Eight than from a clip of Milan Momcilovic talking after the Kentucky game. Jackson, if you got the clip, roll it.
Satisfied are you with that game?
Man, pretty satisfied. I don't think a lot of people really doubted us without him. But it feels like 44.
Hashtag feels like 44. Cyclone Larry, keep paying Etsy witches. Do whatever you got to do this week. Whatever you got to do to beat Tennessee, go out and do it this week. That's all I got to say.
Feels like 44, hopefully minus the World War, but
Yeah,
carry
sure.
on.
Full
Sorry,
pulls
I
on
on such a
Pippen.
dark note. Yeah, let's go. Let him cook.
See ya.